All right, I'm ready for recording. It's kind of hard getting ready for a recording when you're in a new place. By the way, I'm in a new place. Got a lot to update you guys on. It's been some years, and just when I first started YouTube too, huh? But I have a great excuse if you're ready for it. So where have I been? Where has your YouTuber been? Or the one that you're just now getting to know, and he has a big ass gap from his first video to here. I moved. So I had to move, and not had to, but I really wanted to because I was making big steps in life. So I took what I was getting in my new workplace and went to a new place and upgraded. So moved everything, moved in noise. But on top of all that, you would think, oh, he moved in, so where was he for the rest of the time? Put a ring on a girl's finger. So turns out life ain't Disney, so your boy had to actually start planning the wedding as well. It's not like immediate transition into wedding. Oh no, engagement means homeboy finna be active in the wedding scenes, in the wedding planning scenes, excuse me, more for the next year to two. Some rush it in about months. I'm taking my sweet dilly dally time with the fiance. Thank you for anyone who says congrats. I'm gonna just say that early now. Thank you. But that's the personal life and where I've been. Hopefully you guys have been good in this crazy time. You know, Rona existed, world wars, you name it, it's happening in One Piece and here. And Gear 5's about to come out. So One Piece is just on an upswing. So I'm here for the upswing. I'm here to put the details out there. Which brings me to the next topic. The YouTuber that always comes back and tells you they've been gone for a minute and tells you the new plans of life. I like my current job, and it's hard to really like jump ship and just start YouTube all the way. I doubt I ever will unless it just gets enough funding. I get enough funding through YouTube to just quit the main job. But since I'm still working a main job, I'm not in the mindset to make this my main job where I'm able to edit every day of the day, because it takes hours to edit some videos, especially One Piece videos. So I'm not in that real setting to be able to do that. Even the small edits I do can take time, my G, can take heck of time. So that being said, I think I can't do reviews because since it takes time, I don't have that. But I can do discussions. I'm not going to be able to make it in time for your local Shonen Jump manga reviewer who has it released during or after, a little bit after the time of the official release, and read these scans and edit a video and send it out within that time frame, since that's a non-possible factor unless I just do no life. And I kind of like having a life because, you know, ring on a girl's finger and in an apartment, living, upgrading the space. Yeah, dog. Reviews are done after this. Today we're reviewing chapter 1089, but also future spoilers later if you're not ready for that. So after this, you may want to skedaddle. So since that's a thing, yeah, no, I don't want to do that thing. I don't want to do reviews and try to beat the crowd, my G. I want to do discussions instead, because discussions can be anytime I feel like One Piece is popping or a new topic comes up that I feel like talking about. My scatterbrain ADHD mind can get active on the discussions, my G. It doesn't matter, it can get done, and I can upload it at any time. That gives me a lot of freedom I could use on my other channel that I neglected for a long time. Even though the video says a few months ago, yeah, it's been a few years as well. So that is Nerd Basket. I teamed up with some friends of mine, and a basket case is like myself, aka why we called ourselves Nerd Basket. And so now that we're teamed up together, I'm going to make it a reality of us actually recording those team ups via gaming and just make it a group gaming channel. I'll be uploading more solo content, if not all solo content on this channel for gaming. So it'll be a variety. I'll be a variety YouTuber here on Royal, but Royal will not be variety. It'll be simply gaming on Nerd Basket unless something big happens, like a project I'm working on. Let's leave it at that. Hopefully it'll be a video game. I said that to inspire me to finish this darn video game. Am I past a minute? Yeah, this damn video game that I'm trying to create. Pixels supposed to be easy, 2D, 3D, but I'll see. Long story short, that's where my life's at, where I've been, and what I'm trying to do. Trying to get this ring on this girl's finger officiated. This girl, excuse my French, get this ring I put on my fiance's finger officialized. Enjoy the apartment a little more, like on my days off right now. Record more, but in a sensible way, instead of trying to do a review and then missing the review and saying, well, I'll try again next time, miss the review, and it's already been reviewed and thoroughly dissected by other reviewers, even though that doesn't really matter because your content's your content. But still, I feel like discussions in and of itself puts less stress on your boy, so we'll call them discussions. So I want to keep short discussions on by shorts, so I'll see if YouTube will allow me to do that, or whatever social media platform. Long story short, hopefully you'll see more of me soon. Wink. But let's get into this chapter, my G, because now that we have talked about where I'm at in life, it's time to get into this big ass gap I've made for myself. So small update on I'm gonna tell you guys how I feel about what's been going on in recent chapters, and then I'm gonna get into this chapter. Also, this is the point where spoilers will be spoiled. So if you haven't caught up to the Kaido review, the Kaido discussion I had on the chapter review, then my friend, we are well past that, and we are deep in some doo-doo of One Piece. So you're gonna have to skedaddle now, like ASAP. Skedaddle ASAP. Last we left off, Luffy and company were trying to defeat Kaido, and I was damn right. And I'm glad Luffy had his moment of Shonen Jump, because it was well deserved in terms of Shonen Jump. The sudden revival of shonen powers within Luffy was just well deserved desserts that I personally love about shonen. Some people hate that about shonen. Why they read shonen afterwards, I don't know, but of course it's gonna happen. When it comes to Luffy's ability to put Kaido down, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed seeing Luffy rise in power and be a Yonko. That was well beyond my expectations. I love it. What else is there, my guy? So I'm happy with how things turned out. Only things I'm not happy about: Zoro did not get as much love in Wano as Sanji got in other places. Also, Sanji's topic will be discussed, because I am slightly perturbed with Sanji's story at the moment. Slightly perturbed. It's decent, but he's a chef mainly now, which he always was. But his fighter spirit is slightly damaged, but for good reason. So I'll explain that in Zoro, and how we could fill in the gaps of swords in One Piece, and how that doesn't get enough love, period, later. So those are my gripes with Wano. Of course, Yamato not going with Luffy. What the fuck you did? What the fuck you did? What's happening with these Yonkos is just showing me the beauty of how One Piece just really brought it all together, with Garp, or whoever was talking about Yonkos, finally told everyone, guys, Yonkos have two things. They either work with you or they work and kill you. they work against you and kill you. Those are the two modes of a Yonko, and it showed true to what's been happening to Law and Kid and Luffy. Luffy became one. He fought and overcame Yonkos. Meanwhile, Kid and Law are fighting and barely surviving Yonkos. And Luffy himself is just projecting himself forward as a Yonko. It's beautiful. Even if it's superficial in a degree and people still think Luffy's under an admiral. Wow. Hopefully he's not that in your guys' power scaling. Hopefully he's above admiral. So if he's below emperor, to some of you, he's first mate. If he's a first mate level instead of entire emperor, sure, that's on your list. I personally see him as an emperor. I like the new Yonkos though. It's fun to see how everything came together, and now everything's put on its head with the Marines being the dogs, the underdogs in every battle. So that's really interesting now. So emperors are fun to see in action. I'm happy for everything that's been happening, because now we're seeing an emperor war for real, which it was supposed to be. And this end of the emperor war will really put the world on its head. This is what Doflamingo was speaking on years back, man. It's time to put each Yonko in, like, okay, so you remember Kingpin from Spider-Man. It feels like what Kingpin told Spider-Man in one of these shorts I saw, where he said, I kept the underworld together. Now that the underworld's not together, you finna face hell. And then like the Sinister Six came into play after Kingpin. If I'm spitting my Spider-Man knowledge right. We'll see. But besides that analogy, my G, it's really seeming like the final strings are being pulled now that Doflamingo's out of the corner, which should just tell you how strong Doflamingo and others were. Because as soon as Doflamingo got cut off, and the next thing that happened were the warlords getting cut down to size as pirates only with no get out of jail free card, shit started to erupt. So it's really interesting seeing that explosion of just, well, power joining together to fight, and Yonkos, and that one quote we got about the Yonkos becoming the new motto of the world, the new agenda, really. Either Yonkos are gaining powers and you're fighting against them, or you're joining them to join in the greatest power there is. And there's all a race to the One Piece between these 7 to 8 powerhouses. It changes depending on the day and who we're looking at. Finally, Garp. Man, Garp will be alright. Let's talk about that when we first get into the chapter, because that happens there too, where we first talk about the chapter and they're talking about Garp in Fuchsia Village. Let's start there, because now I'm basically up to par to where I need to be. And the last chapter, it was called Final Lesson. This chapter's called Under Siege. So yeah, Garp's in a bit of a pickle, but like our mayor of Fuchsia Village said, I really don't think Garp is dead. I think we got faked out, my friends, my G's. I think it's really going to be Garp either getting rescued by those able bodies still on the ship with Kobe and the others, going in and rescuing them. Because once again, guys, if Luffy can go into Big Mom's Island weak as fuck and still get captured, then Garp himself will be fine on that island with Blackbeard, because they're both bloodthirsty killers. Okay, even if you want to say Big Mom's just not smart, so she didn't know that she could kill Luffy. No, my friend, she knew she can kill Luffy. They're just not all bloodthirsty killers in that sense, where they're gonna just kill off Garp like that. Oda's not gonna kill off Garp. Garp is gonna get the Luffy treatment, captured at worst, able to escape at best. So, not really stressful. That final lesson was a great one. Garp may leave without a leg or arm. He may leave one leg or arm behind, maybe incapacitated. I could see him getting a very big mode of like just becoming almost like Mighty Guy from the final battle, just disability as fuck after the battle. It really just depends on what Garp does to get out of this. A final punch, he could honestly get some enough power to push through and hopefully make a like big ass dent and then escape Law style. So I think we're gonna get a Law escape, or we're getting a rescue from Kobe, just like fucking Law, or he'll get out of it himself. But yeah, we start the chapter in Fuchsia Village, and after that discussion of Garp is gonna be okay, man, so is Luffy, we see a child in, oh, I had to look up her name earlier, I got it now, Makino, because I don't remember names too well, in Makino's arms. Still the same baby, but I think the baby's hair is the same as Makino's, but I'm just going to really think to myself and put my money on Shanks, because its hair is curly like Shanks. Ain't no way that's Ace's. And what's this about? And most a year older than Luffy, so there's no way that's Ace's baby. If anything, Ace's baby will be baby. Sorry, Ace's baby will be in someone else's stomach from the New World, if anything. And some people want to pull for Yamato. I mean, it would have happened by now, right? I mean, it's been a good amount of time, right? And Luffy had that 2 years skip afterwards, so Yamato would have had a kid by now. You can't hold a child for longer than 2 years. Ace got held for about a few months longer than a year. I'll check the math later. I doubt it was 2 years holding the child. Anywho, besides my theory and the fact that I think that it's going to be real interesting if my theory is right, because I think Shanks is going to somehow protect the child, even though the child was already kind of protected there and Shanks really didn't take any measures. And you know, emperors kind of get better treatment than pirates, so pirates are kind of good usually at just keeping their kid near them, because they know anywhere else they go they're in danger anyway, so they might as well keep their kid. So following that pirate logic, emperors just keep their kids in a safe area with some bodyguards and call it a day from what I've seen. But this is going to be deadly interesting to see how things go with Shanks hiding his kid in plain sight in a Uta situation, because Uta got sent to a different village. Keeping the kid in the village it was born in, that's gonna be interesting, but it's all just a theory. But that's Shanks' kid, and you can't tell me different. Garp's too old, Ace too young. That's Shanks, and Shanks' kid. We get into what Emu did to the world. Emu made a big ass hole. I'm not a geographer, a maps person, geography, you know. So when they talk about all the changes that happen around the world, to me, I just see pretty little things happening, and I'm like, at best, my mind can put it towards tectonic plates causing this problem. But I'm sure someone who likes geology can explain it, because you know, location, especially in One Piece. But me personally, I just see hope. It just hope for me. So maybe later, Library of Horror or someone will give us more detail on this and someone can dive deeper into the discussion. But long story short, later on in the chapter, their hole made by Emu. Emu's hole caused problems. Hole. Oh, shit. I'm so glad I'm past the 1 minute mark. Oh, it's stupid. But that's the best I got. I will say Emu-san was looking like a goddamn Pokemon main villain, and I'm so glad this is again why I'm so glad the Yonkos were building up power, because now we're seeing the final boss like a Pokemon battle. Everyone's got their level 30s to 50s, and they're like, ooh, I just finished the Pokemon League, or I'm just getting ready for it. Now Imu-sama's up to his evil schemes for the internal flame and the ability to make islands erase. So in general, it's fun to see this. I will say this though, if it has any significance, it'll probably be from islands we've seen before, because New World has a lot of islands that have had those issues before, and now that New World is having those from the past, and we're seeing that in the present in the Grand Line, which in the past the Grand Line didn't have that issue. So that just goes to show you the New World could have been the experimental world that was just on the other side, known as the Hardlands, where all the bullshit of the Void Century came to light. Meanwhile, the Grand Line was still sheltered as freak, and no one fucking knew, man. They just said, oh, New World is just New World, no one survives there, they all die anyways. Survival rate on low. So who lives to tell the tale? And if you do live to tell the tale, who the fuck would tell it? You can't make it back to the other side of the world alive without issues. Maybe through transponder snail, but you know, that shit doesn't happen. But yeah, since that happened, it's possible other islands could be below or above sea level, because a lot of places are just getting thrown the fuck about right now. So, and map wise, if you're a One Piece keeping up with the maps like Nami type person, I suggest going ahead and just putting a map out and seeing what could have been sunk underwater and what didn't. I'm still under the Pangea idea that everything was connected together at one point, and then the tectonic plates shifted it away via something Emu or one of the other kings of the past did. That's what I'm gonna call them now, kings of the past, until I know Imu-sama's name. I'll look back and think about it later. One take, aka seventh take. Let's go. So Imu-sama looking like a Pokemon leader. We'll see what the emperors have in plan later. Luffy's land is still under siege because he has now claimed Egghead Island as his own, as the papers have stated. And the Marines aren't really doing much. I mean, they're geared up with 9 vice admirals, but getting back to the chapter, man, and looking back at Egghead Island, these 9 vice admirals could be on Garp level at best. And I say that with a lot of grains of salt, man, because it's possible, because you got to think about it from Garp's perspective. Why did Garp never go above Vice Admiral? He didn't want to be controlled by celestial dragons. He's not the only one who probably had that ideal, or some people who didn't even want to go past Garp. They said they weren't worthy of that shit, because if we're talking admirals here, there should be some that have powerful names without being powerful ranks. Their ranks don't express how actually fucking powerful they are. I mean, look at the spin-off series that we had with some startup admirals. I think they were like Kobe's level. And even Kobe himself is like punching fucking rocks of a mountain level in fucking rubble. So all in all, we got some hidden gems in the Vice Admirals group, but I don't think it's enough hidden gems to cause any need for concern. If anything, I think they'll slow down the Straw Hats to a molasses pace at best, to a slight jog at worst. Because it'll be real interesting to see how they all siege the castle, because they're all on an offense at this point. So I'm sure some of our characters will battle them. It's all just a matter of time. It looks like Kizaru is having himself just a grand old relaxation, get through the day type of work day here on the chapter. He's having a grand old time of just trying to get through the day, be another cork in the wheel, chilling, telling his nephew? Yeah, telling his nephew that he's just trying to get through the work day. And he's just another cog in the wheel. Everyone else is just kind of like trying to clean up loose ends, especially Saturn, who just ordered the escapee ship to be sunk to the fucking bottom of the ocean. So Buster Call is still in effect, but we later learn that everything's kind of been handled by the Straw Hats, which is honestly a great thing. Not terrible at all, but we're kind of told that in a spun about way. So it seems like the rogue, I'll say the rogue, I think she's number 6, the rogue fucking Vegapunk is just talking to the Gorosei, trying to make a deal. And the only interesting thing I pulled out of it was the eternal flame. Yeah, the eternal flame, or mother flame. Yeah, mother flame. The mother flame is interesting because it sounds to me, at first it sounded like it was there and they needed it to live, but since it's not really showing any mother flame that they have, or they didn't discuss anything about it still being alive, I now assume that the mother flame died somehow from the past and they're trying to create their own mother flame, whether for something they don't have the final piece of the puzzle to. So the eternal flame's gonna be hella interesting, because if Vegapunk can actually make it, oh my god, Luffy and company could really get a power up. It just depends on how Vegapunk and company are feeling. So that in and of itself is interesting as hell. But it seems like either it's a bluff or it's not, but the mother flame may come back into effect, period. If Luffy and company can team up with Vegapunk and figure out where the mother flame is, bro, that would be fucking stellar, like amazing. And we finally end the chapter with Luffy and company, of course, exposing that they have taken over already and the coup is over with. The conspiracy's done. But that was the roundabout way they said it after the discussion the rogue Vegapunk had with the Gorosei. But it's basically going to be a siege. It's an enjoyable read so far. I'm looking forward to how things go, and I'm not mad at how we skipped over the battles. I'm really not. I wasn't very interested in any of them. I was only interested in the matchups, because here's my thing. A lot of them are not characters with actual, like, a lot of them were side characters. They were fighting like robots or imitation copies, or oh god, did they fight anyone we may have wanted to see? No one really fought anyone, because all of the admirals, well, vice admirals, the admiral and the Gorosei all stood by and did nothing the whole time. So in and of itself, my G, there was no real interesting person-on-person fights that I like seeing. I like seeing real people battle each other. I didn't want to see robots battling my crew that I love seeing so much. No. I'm glad we saved screen time, because Oda's kind of tested this theory before with the Straw Hats and the story in general, where he kind of cuts out small bits and pieces and sees our reactions. And just like before, I'm in the mindset right now where I'm actually okay with us skipping over it, because I know Oda, I don't see this being a plot hole. Right now, yes, it's a plot hole, but later on, if anything happened and it's covered later, we could draw it right back to here and say, oh, that's what we missed. That's what they did, you know? And to me, that's not a problem. That's just skipping over time that we could have skipped over anyways, because Oda's gonna have to cover that later where it actually matters, which makes fucking sense to me. Why would you cover it now? Something that doesn't matter. All you care about is the outcome anyways. And later on, when they finally show their new power, they'll be able to discuss it and show it to you later. And it's not an ass pull, because you can connect the dots that's what happened. So all in all, I don't mind this. I'm glad Bonnie's okay after figuring out what happened to her father. And me personally, it's okay that I don't know what exactly happened to Kuma. I mean, it really is something I'd like to know a little later. Like, maybe it'll play into effect when we finally go against Imu-sama and Vegapunk finally explains what all he did experimentation wise, especially with this eternal flame. But if nothing else happened, besides her learning about her father, like if Rob Lucci didn't team up with the Straw Hats and join their crew and renounced CP0, and if Vegapunk and Frankie didn't create an ancient weapon, then I don't care. I don't, we can cover that later. Yeah, I think Oda's doing a great job pacing wise, because we need to skip over that and get to the good shit, because it seems like further down the line, I don't see everyone in the final panel, but it seems like Rob Lucci and company may be riding along with Bonnie and Vegapunk. Vegapunk is definitely gonna have to pull his weight now and figure out a way off of this island. If he's the greatest inventor in the world, he should have an escape plan. People have escaped with less information, including Bonnie, in their minds. Bonnie escaped chained up somehow, still able to get out of either Impel Down or out of Akainu's clutches. So, all that being said, great chapter. I love how we skipped over everything. I love how we got through into the next steps. Hopefully Luffy and company team up with Vegapunk and just create something amazing for the ship and or for the island, and the island itself is still standing as one of Luffy's great bases. Best outcome, worst outcome, they have to leave the island and blow it the fuck up and then go into exile. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, and Vegapunk is an upgrade, and we're going to see an upgrade somehow. We just need to listen to Vegapunk and see what the hell he does. It's time for him to pull his weight. Or the Vegapunks. Everything's still falling into place. If I had to guess where the next island is once they do escape, I'd say it's to possibly go team up and figure out the Blackbeard situation, or figure out the Void Century situation. They're going to sail to one of those two and hopefully gather as a group, because there's something that's going to boil over. All pots are on this pot or on the stove cooking. We got Blackbeard, we got Emu, we got Shanks, and we got Buggy and company. But at the end of the day, one of those are going to boil over, and that's where the Straw Hats are going to be. Blackbeard would be the next plausible outcome, and or Luffy getting a power up, then going to go see Blackbeard with Shanks, and then after one of those two, we'll see Shanks probably next in Elbaf, give or take somehow, and then finding the final poneglyphs, and then moving on to the final war. But for now, I'm enjoying it. It's what I see going down right now. I can't wait to see how everyone turns out. Me personally, I'd like to see some people get out of jail and some more brouhaha to happen. The world of One Piece is upside down, kind of like real life. But it was a great chapter. More discussions on the way. Apparently, I've roped myself into talking about Zoro and Sanji, current time, and how I feel about all these characters now. That'll probably be a discussion video, and more like it on the way whenever that time comes. But for me, it'll probably be a gaming video up next, so we'll see how that dynamic goes. You guys have a good one, man. Stick around if you need. Hit a button to help keep in touch, and we'll keep trucking with the next video whenever. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. That's how I say bye, but yeah. Bye.